Well, hello, church family. I just want to take a moment to talk with you about TBC and our plans to reopen amidst this COVID-19 situation. First, just let me tell you that Jennifer and I and all the staff, we can't wait to be able to come back together and get to see you in person and worship together. And secondly, I need you to understand that we're just not ready to rush into that yet. After much discussion, our leadership we feel as if we would be best served to move slowly. You know, it's always a possibility for us to speed up the process, but it's much, much more difficult to slow things down. We've adopted kind of a wait and see stance towards reopening, and I want to tell you why. It's because we feel that it is better to be cautious here than to rush in. Even Elvis Presley knew that wasn't a good idea, right? If you take the percentage of our church family that would fall into one of the vulnerable categories, and you add them to the percentage that are in close contact with those people, then it seems like it would add up to about 80 to 85% of our church. And these are the ones that would best be served by staying at home and continuing to engage with our online worship. And then of the remaining 15 to 20% of our church, many of them, have small children. And one of the recommendations for reopening is to postpone providing children's and nursery ministries. And that would mean it would be difficult for these families to attend in person without that childcare. Now, we're working hard to be ready to reconvene our in-person worship services. Currently, we're preparing for social distancing in our lobby and in our auditorium. We're working on the logistics to provide multiple service times to allow for the recommended social distancing. We're equipping our church to be able to continue online services for those that may not be able to return to in-person services, and this way we can also continue to reach outside of our walls with the gospel. It's really been amazing to see the way that God has used our nation's response to the coronavirus to make the gospel more available to more people than ever before. And also to propel many churches like our own into the digital age. And though we're told now at this point that some of the restrictive recommendations are being lifted, we want to be wise in our response. Paul said it well when he said, "All things are lawful to me, but all things are not expedient." Now, you may be of the mind that we shouldn't reopen until at least August. Or maybe you think that we really never should have stopped meeting in the first place. You might be one of those that really doesn't have any opinion on it at all. But wherever you may fall here, I want to challenge you to do something in regards to how our church, and really every church, is responding to this situation. Be supportive. We're all trying to do what is best for our church families. The TBC deacons, the staff, and I, we're all doing our best to prayerfully make wise decisions about these things. Now, I don't know if we'll ever know all that God is doing in this situation or all that He wants to have happen in His church. But I know one thing for sure that He does not want to have happen. He does not want to see His church and His people divided over this. Didn't Jesus say that if a house is divided against itself, that house cannot stand? So church, let's support one another. Let's love one another. And let's be a shining example of what a family of God can be, even when we're separated by a quarantine. If we can trust in the Lord in all our ways and allow Him to direct our paths, and He can use us to be a beacon of hope to our community and those that we come in contact with. Remember, our core values are to love God, to serve others, and to grow disciples. Our mission is clear, and even in the midst of all this, it hasn't changed. Let's allow God to continue to use TBC to spread hope to a world that is in need. Make sure that each one of your interactions with people, whether it's in person or it's online, points people to Jesus. He's our Savior and our Redeemer. They need to know that. Don't forget to join us this coming Sunday 10 a.m. on Facebook and on YouTube. We'll come together for worship. And then be looking for more announcements as we get closer and closer to being ready, prepared to come back together and worship together here in our church service. We love you all. We'll be talking to you soon. God bless.